The door was already open. Laughter and music spilled out like a trap. I froze on the threshold, 1 foot in shadow, 1 in bright light, balloons swaying, 20 strangers turning as one. Their eyes locked on me. My heart slammed against my ribs. Any second now, someone would point and shout, "Who the hell are you?" Instead, a red cup was thrust into my hand. A woman rushed forward, arms wide, beaming like I was the missing piece of her night. "You made it!" she cried, and just like that, I was in. The plan was simple. Pick up Zane from his new place, grab some late-night chai, head home. I'd never been to this gated complex before. Streetlights flickered weakly, building numbers blurred together. Google Maps had already betrayed me twice, first sending me down a dead-end alley, then insisting I'd arrived in front of a wall. Frustrated, I parked anyway, pocketed my phone and started walking. Music hit me before I even reached the second building. Deep bass thumped through concrete, laughter riding the beat. I glanced at the address again. Unit 304, right? This had to be it. The stairwell door was propped open with a brick. I climbed, following the sound like a moth. Second floor. Hallway, dim except for one apartment, where golden light poured out. Balloons bobbed in the doorway. Gold, silver, black. A glittery 30 sign hung crookedly above the frame. The music swelled, then, suddenly, silence. A collective shout. "Surprise!" My stomach dropped. I hadn't knocked, hadn't even reached the door properly, but the cheer was so loud it vibrated in my chest. I took 1 step back, ready to bolt. Too late. Heads turned. Smiles froze for half a heartbeat, then widened. A guy in a party hat was the first to move. Long strides, red solo cup already extended like an offering. "Here, man, you're just in time," he said, pressing the cold plastic into my palm. Something sweet and alcoholic sloshed inside. I stared at the cup, then at him, then at the room. 20 faces, maybe 25, all watching me with expectant warmth. Streamers dangled from the ceiling fan. A chocolate cake sat on the dining table, candles unlit, knife poised beside it. A woman in a sparkly top broke from the crowd, arms open. "You made it!" she squealed, pulling me into a quick, perfumed hug before I could react. Her earrings brushed my cheek. We were starting to worry. My brain short-circuited. Say something. Say you're in the wrong place. Say it now. Instead, my mouth moved on autopilot. "Wouldn't miss it," I heard myself say. She laughed, delighted, and tugged me fully inside. The door clicked shut behind me. Soft, final. Panic bloomed low in my gut, cold and sharp. Who was turning 30? I scanned faces. No one looked familiar. No Zane, no one even close to his age or build. The cake said, "Happy 30th" in messy white icing, but the birthday star was nowhere obvious. Someone pressed a plate into my other hand. "Cake's insane. Double chocolate. You've got to try." I nodded mutely, took a bite. It was good. Too good. The sugar hit my tongue while my mind raced. They think I belong here. If I leave now, it's going to be weird. If I stay, it's going to be weirder. A guy with a beard clapped me on the shoulder. "Dude, can you believe they finally hit 30? Feels like yesterday we were sneaking beers in college." I forced a laugh that sounded strangled even to me. "Yeah. Wild." The music kicked back on, some upbeat pop track. People started dancing again, pulling each other into the living room. I edged toward a corner, sipping the mystery drink to buy time. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Probably Zane. I ignored it. The woman from the hug appeared again, eyes bright. "So, how do you know them?" Them. Not even a name. My throat tightened. Everyone within earshot glanced over, casually curious. I swallowed. "Through work." A beat of silence. Then she nodded, satisfied. "Oh, Right. The office crew. Makes sense. Relief flooded me so fast my knees almost buckled. Work, generic enough to explain anything. I smiled weakly, took another bite of cake. But inside, the countdown had started. How long until someone asked my name? How long until the real guest, the one they were actually waiting for, walked through that door? The room felt smaller by the minute. Every burst of laughter sounded like a warning shot. I kept my back near the wall, half hidden behind a cluster of balloons that swayed like silent witnesses. The red cup in my hand was almost empty now. I nursed the last warm sip, pretending it was the most fascinating drink I'd ever tasted. Anything to avoid eye contact. A man in a loud Hawaiian shirt wandered over, balancing 2 plates of samosas. You tried these yet? Priya's mom made them. Legendary. He thrust one toward me before I could answer. I took it. Hot oil burned my fingertips. Thanks. Smells amazing. He grinned, chewing thoughtfully. So, you're from the old office gang, right? The merger crew? My pulse spiked. Merger? I had no idea what company this was even about. I nodded slowly, buying time. Yeah, that was intense. Tell me about it. Remember when Vikram tried to fix the printer and flooded the server room? He laughed so hard he nearly dropped his plate. I forced a chuckle, mind racing. Classic Vikram. Who the hell was Vikram? The man kept talking. Names, inside jokes, memories I couldn't possibly share. I nodded at perfect intervals, murmured, "Oh yeah," and "No way," like I'd lived it. Sweat prickled along my hairline. The music was loud enough to cover my shaky breathing, but I could feel my heart thudding in my throat. Across the room, the woman who'd hugged me earlier, Priya maybe, was lighting the candles on the cake. 30 of them. Tiny flames danced, throwing shadows across smiling faces. Someone dimmed the lights. The music dropped to a soft hum. Here they come, someone whispered excitedly. My stomach lurched. Here who comes? The birthday person. Had they been hiding this whole time? Or worse, was the birthday person about to walk in from outside and see an extra stranger already inside? I edged sideways, inching toward the hallway that led to what I hoped was the bathroom, or, better yet, an exit. My phone buzzed again, insistent. I slipped it halfway out of my pocket, just enough to see Zane's name flashing. I hit ignore. Explaining this over the phone right now would shatter whatever spell was keeping me invisible. The crowd parted. A woman in her late 20s stepped out from the kitchen hallway, hands over her mouth in mock shock. Everyone erupted again. Surprise! She laughed, tears shining in her eyes. You guys, I had no idea. So that was her, the one turning 30. Not me. Not anyone I knew. Just a stranger whose party I had hijacked. Guilt twisted in my chest, sharp and sudden. She looked genuinely happy, overwhelmed in the best way. Balloons, cake, friends screaming her name, which I still didn't catch. And here I was, eating her food, lying to her friends, pretending I belonged in this perfect moment that wasn't mine. Priya, the hugger, grabbed my elbow gently. Come on, photo time! Group shot before the candles melt. Panic clawed up my throat. Photos, evidence, a permanent record of the imposter. I should probably... Everyone, over here, someone else yelled. Too late. I was swept into the huddle, arms draped over my shoulders, phones raised, flashes popped like gunfire. I smiled, teeth clenched, eyes wide, praying my face wouldn't end up tagged somewhere with a caption like, "Who is this guy?" The birthday woman blew out the candles in one dramatic breath. Cheers exploded again. Someone started slicing cake. Another red cup appeared in my hand, this one fizzing with something pink. I took a long drink, letting the bubbles burn my throat. One more slice of cake, one more minute. Then I'd slip out. Quietly. No goodbyes, no clean-up duty. My phone buzzed a third time. I finally answered, stepping into the hallway for cover. "Dude, where are you?" Zane's voice was half laughing, half annoyed. "I've been waiting 10 minutes. I glanced back at the party. Lights low, people singing off-key, "Happy Birthday." The birthday woman was cutting the first piece, laughing as icing smeared her fingers. "I'm at a birthday party," I whispered. A pause. "Whose?" I swallowed. "I honestly have no idea, but the cake is really good." Zane snorted so loud I had to pull the phone away. "You're kidding! You crashed a random party." "Not crashed," I hissed. "Accidentally attended. They handed me a drink before I could explain." He was laughing so hard now I could hear him wheezing. "Get a picture. I need proof." "No photos," I muttered. "They're already taking group shots. I'm in them." "Oh my God, you're a legend. Don't leave yet. Milk it." I peeked around the corner. Priya was waving me back in, holding up a plate with an extra large slice. "Come on! You haven't had seconds!" My escape window was closing fast. Priya's smile was relentless. She held the plate out like a peace offering, the slice of cake so thick it threatened to topple. Double chocolate frosting glistened under the string lights. My mouth watered even as my brain screamed, "Run!" I took the plate. "Thanks. You really didn't have to." "Nonsense," she said, looping her arm through mine and steering me back toward the center of the chaos. "You've been hiding in corners all night. Time to mingle properly." Mingle. The word landed like a brick. Every step forward felt like walking deeper into quicksand. The birthday woman, still nameless to me, was now surrounded by a knot of friends, opening gifts. Wrapping paper flew like confetti. Someone had given her a framed photo collage. I caught glimpses of beach trips, college graduations, late-night study sessions, lives intertwined for decades. And me, a glitch in their night.
I forced another bite of cake. The sweetness was starting to cloy, sticking to the roof of my mouth. My phone vibrated again. Zane, probably sending laughing emojis or demanding that proof photo. I kept it buried in my pocket. A guy I hadn't noticed before sidled up, tall, glasses, the kind of easy confidence that made you feel instantly outclassed. He leaned in close, voice low over the music. "Hey, I don't think we've met properly. I'm Arjun. You are..." My blood turned to ice. Name. He wanted a name. A real one. Not through work. Not a vague nod. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out at first. Then, on pure instinct, Shakir. It slipped out before I could stop it. My actual name. Stupid. Reckless. But saying something fake felt riskier. Like if I lied about that too, the whole house of cards would collapse the second anyone cross-checked. "Shakir," Arjun repeated, nodding as if filing it away. "Cool. You work with Ananya at the agency?" Ananya. So that was her name. The birthday girl, 30 today. Surrounded by people who'd known her since she was a kid, probably. And here I was, eating her cake, wearing a borrowed identity thinner than tissue paper. "Yeah," I said, the lie settling heavier now that it had a face attached. "Marketing side, mostly behind the scenes." He laughed. "That explains why you've been so quiet. You guys are always the introverts until the campaign launches." I managed a weak smile. Guilty. The conversation drifted. Campaign horror stories, impossible deadlines, that one client who changed the brief 17 times. I nodded along, throwing in just enough generic comments to stay afloat. "Yeah, scope creep is brutal. Totally, the last-minute revisions kill me. Safe, vague, invisible. But every second stretched. My eyes kept flicking to the door. It was still closed. No one new had arrived in a while. Maybe the surprise had already happened. Maybe I'd slipped in right after the real guest of honor moment. Or maybe the person they'd been waiting for, the one whose absence had left an empty slot, was me. The thought was absurd and terrifying at once. Priya reappeared with fresh drinks. Shakir, try this. It's the signature cocktail. Mango mojito. Non-alcoholic version too if you want. She remembered my name. Or Arjun had told her. Either way, it was real now. I was on the guest list in their heads. I took the glass. Cold condensation slick against my palm. Thanks. She tilted her head, studying me for a second too long. You okay? You seem tense. My heart stuttered. Just long week. You know how it is. She softened. Totally. But hey, you're here now. That's what matters. Ananya was so happy you could make it. She kept saying, I hope the work gang shows up. Guilt stabbed deeper. Ananya didn't know me, had never invited me. Yet somehow my presence had become part of her perfect night. I glanced at her again. She was laughing, head thrown back, icing on her nose from someone's playful swipe. Pure joy, the kind of moment you frame and hang on the wall. And I was stealing oxygen from it. I set the half-eaten cake down on a side table. I should probably head out soon. Early morning tomorrow. Priya pouted. Already? Stay for the games at least. We're doing charades next. Charades. Acting. Pretending. I was already doing an Oscar-worthy performance. Before I could answer, the music cut. Someone yelled, Speech! Speech! Ananya was pushed gently to the center. She waved her hands, embarrassed but glowing. Okay. Wow. I don't even know what to say. You guys, this is insane. I love you all so much. The room hushed. Phones came out again, recording. She took a breath. Seriously, seeing everyone here, especially people I haven't seen in ages. Her eyes scanned the crowd, passed over me, lingered for half a second, moved on. My lungs forgot how to work. She didn't recognize me. Of course she didn't. But for that split second, I thought she might. She smiled wider. Thank you. All of you. Even the mystery plus ones who just showed up and made it 10 times better. Laughter rippled through the room. A few people glanced my way, grinning like I was in on the joke. I forced a laugh too. It sounded hollow. Then she raised her glass. To 30. And to all of you. Whoever you are. Glasses clinked. Cheers erupted. I clinked my empty cup against the nearest person's. And in that moment, I decided. One more song. Then I'd vanish like I'd never been here. But the door felt farther away than ever. The cheers died down slowly, glasses still clinking in scattered echoes. Ananya wiped a tear from her cheek, still laughing, still glowing like the room had been built just for her moment. I stood frozen near the edge of the crowd, my empty cup dangling uselessly from my fingers. The word mystery plus one hung in the air like smoke. Funny to them, a spotlight on me. Priya leaned in again, voice conspiratorial. She's right, you know. You showing up out of nowhere? Best surprise of the night. I managed a grin that felt more like a grimace. Happy to help. Inside, my thoughts were screaming. Get out. Now. Before the games start. Before someone asks for your number. Before Ananya actually remembers she never invited a Shakir from marketing. The music kicked back up. Something slower this time. A nostalgic playlist. Couples swayed in the living room. Others gathered around the cake table, scraping the last crumbs. I saw my opening. The hallway to the front door was clear for the first time in what felt like hours. I set my cup down quietly, took one step backward. Shakir! Arjun's voice cut through the noise. He was waving me over, holding up his phone. Come on, one more group pic, the whole crew. My stomach plummeted. Another photo. More evidence. More faces I'd have to smile at while lying with my entire body. I really should... I started. Priya appeared out of nowhere, grabbing my wrist with gentle insistence. 5 seconds, then you can escape. Promise. Escape. She said it like a joke. To me, it was literal. I let myself be pulled back. The group reformed. Arms around shoulders, phones up again. Ananya in the center, beaming. I ended up right beside her this time, close enough to smell her vanilla perfume. Close enough that if she turned her head even slightly, she'd see the stranger wearing guilt like a second skin. The countdown began. 3, 2, 1. Flashes. Smiles. I tilted my head just enough to hide half my face behind someone's shoulder. Pathetic, but it was all I had. The phones lowered. Laughter bubbled up again. Ananya turned to me, actually turned, and for one horrifying heartbeat our eyes met. She blinked, frowned faintly, then smiled wider. Thanks for coming. Seriously, it means a lot. Her voice was soft, sincere, no suspicion, just gratitude. I swallowed hard. Wouldn't miss it, I said again. The same line I'd used at the door. It felt heavier now, more dishonest. She squeezed my arm once, quick and friendly, then turned back to her friends. That was it. My cue. My absolution, maybe. I slipped away while they were distracted by someone starting a conga line. Down the hallway, past the balloons still bobbing like they were mocking me. I reached the door, hand on the knob. One last look back. The party pulsed on. Lights low, laughter loud, cake crumbs everywhere. Ananya was dancing now, arms raised, completely unaware that her work gang had included an accidental intruder who'd spent the night eating her food and stealing her joy secondhand. I twisted the knob, stepped into the dim hallway. The door clicked shut behind me, soft, final, the same way it had when I'd first come in. Cool air hit my face. The music muffled instantly. My legs felt shaky, like I'd run a marathon instead of standing in one place pretending. I pulled out my phone. 3 missed calls from Zane, a string of texts. Where are you? Dude, you alive? Bro, if you're still at that party, I'm coming to rescue you, LMAO. I typed back one word. Leaving. Then I walked. Fast. Down the stairs. Out the building. Past the flickering streetlights and the wrong address that Google Maps had sworn was right. By the time I reached my car, my heart was still hammering, but slower now. Calmer. Almost amused. I sat behind the wheel for a minute, engine off, just breathing. The taste of chocolate cake lingered on my tongue. The echo of Happy 30th still rang in my ears. I didn't know Ananya, would probably never see any of them again. But for 1 hour, I'd been part of something warm and loud and real. A mystery guest who didn't ruin the night, just slipped into it like he'd always belonged. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about that party. Wonder if they ever figured it out. Wonder if Ananya ever asked, "Hey, who is that quiet guy from work again?" And I hope, wherever she is now, she still smiles when she remembers the stranger who showed up uninvited and stayed just long enough to make the surprise feel complete. I started the car, drove away, and left the balloons, the cake, the laughter behind.